community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about it.
All right, peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. I'm roughing it today. For those that aren't aware, it's Prostate Awareness Month, so grow your beards. I got a stub, so I'm looking awful, but we're trying to promote that awareness. I got a powerful guest tonight, so I want you all to hold on. I'm going to put the intro in, and we're going to get this phenomenal, powerful sister on, so stay tuned 1 second, and please share.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
All right, I'm so excited to introduce my guest, so let me bring her in right now. Peace and blessings, my sister. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to have a great conversation with you because it's important. It's important that we talk to people. It's important that we share our stories, and it's important to connect with our community. So very happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so blessed. Well, first of all, please, for those that don't know you, please introduce yourself to the people. Give them a brief background about yourself.
So, for those who don't know me, my name is Mireille Toulekima. I live in Perth in Australia, but I was born in a country called Gabon, that's in West Africa, former French colony. And I grew there, and also after a certain time in my teen, I had to leave Gabon. So since then, I've lived in different countries. So left Gabon where I was 15, just going back for holidays, but been living overseas since then. So I must say I'm a citizen of the world, if that's something that it can stand. And I've interacted with so many people and so many cultures, and it's been amazing. So professionally, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer by background, but so I've worked in the oil and gas industry for almost 20 years now, first for different corporations around the world, and created my consultancy 5 years ago, global consultancy, which is going very well. But in the meantime, been doing a lot of empowering work, focusing on women and focusing on developing countries as well, where I try to empower people and make people understand that they have they're not limited. They're just limited by their own mindset, and they really need to take their power, step into their power, step into their greatness to be able to engineer greatness, not only in their life, but also in the life of their community, in their life of their country. And I'm using my own example, starting from a very humble beginning back in Gabon, from a very humble family with, no money, but a great mindset, and being able to become a global influence. It's something that anybody can do if they have the right mindset. So I have a couple of ventures. So there's the MT Energy Resources, which is the company that I've created 5 years ago, and I also have the Global Leadership Organization that under my name. and that's the under this venture that I do all the empowering work and leadership and management work around the world. And then I've been blessed to have had some global awards in STEM, which because that's where I focus on as well, which STEM standing for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So
Wow.
really, plan life and keep going because it's been going on for a decade, but I just keep pushing because I think as a woman and as a Black woman, I have to set an example for the next generation.
But before I go forward, I know you said you were nominated and may have won a few awards. Please, because I mean you're blowing up right now, and I just want all the people to know it. I don't want to make. I know you may be humble about it, but name a couple of the awards that you've been nominated for.
So recently, I've been nominated for the Women in STEM Award. So that's a global award focused on diversity and also being a highly of STEM. But before that, I had an entrepreneurship excellence that I got 2 years ago. That was given to me by the one of the world organization, the WBAF, which is quite a key one, and that was for entrepreneur women of excellence, African women of excellence. So that's one. And here in Australia, I've been inducted in the role model women in STEM community. So really, really great things. I had also the award of Women of Excellence by the World Economic Forum.
Wow.
That was also in 2018. So a lot of good things going on. Not it's always things are coming all together, but there's a long journey, and like I said, there's always the light at the end of the tunnel wherever you start.
Well, I want to salute you there because you're globally doing it. Before I get into some of the work that you're doing, I just wanted to ask you because, as you know, we're here in the United States, and you actually are from Gabon, and now you're in Australia, and a lot of people want to know how is it for Black people there, Africans there. Is it different? Is it racism, or how do you make it through? Or people want to know because there's not a lot of us there. I would assume. I could be ignorant to that
Yeah.
fact.
There's actually quite a good African community now because
Okay.
when I came into Australia in 2006 now, it was more an Asian community, but since then we had quite a lot of African brothers and sisters, mostly coming for education, and they're originally coming from the southern part of Africa, the eastern part of Africa, and a lot of the northern Africa as well. So a different type of migration. So you have West Africa, which is more geared to Europe and probably North America, but in Australia, it's more geared to East Africa and Southern Africa. So there's quite a lot. So just as usual, you always experience, when you're different, you always experience your racism. But I don't think that it's very, it's less than for example, experienced when I was living in France, because I've lived in France. I think it's more about, a bit of fear when you don't know a culture, but then when, they start to know you, you get, easily included, and this thing goes away. But like everywhere, there's always, part of the population that's actually racist and doesn't want to have anything to do with somebody who is different from them. and that's just a fact. So, but
Right.
it's not as bad as what I can see on TV. I've not lived in the U.S. I've been in the U.S. before, just for short trips, but I've not lived in the U.S. But I think it's quite intense there, and
Yeah.
we've not reached this type of level yet.
Right.
uh,
Of
yet.
animosity towards
Hopefully
each other.
never.
Right. 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 That's interesting because what I'm taking is, it seems like, it was a little rough at first, but now they're starting to respect you got us as a culture, and it seems over there it's just you do your thing, we do our thing, and it's respect. Here it's, a little bit of someone trying to hold each other down and stuff like that. So that's interesting.
Because I think the concept in Australia is different, because Australia, it's a big country, but they have a small population. It's only 20 million people for a country the size of a continent. And the community, the Black community coming here is very educated. So they bring value to the country, and they're actually tapping into a gap here in Australia. So they actually can't do without them, because they really need this very experienced and educated immigration to actually do well themselves economically. So that's probably the difference in here, is that they really need the qualified manpower, and they just have to live with it.
Well, I wanna go into a little bit of what you're doing. I definitely want to talk about global leadership, but I wanted to talk because you hit my nerve with something, and you were talking about STEM. Explain that to me, because I heard you say science, mathematics. Break that down, because that is very important, I believe, to society in general. And so I just wanted you to talk
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
So STEM stand for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, and you're right. It's now very important, because a lot of the things are. I mean, we are in the fourth industrial revolution, and people need to. We need a lot of skills in those areas, in science, in technology. I mean, right now with the pandemic, because of the technology, we can still function.
Hmm.
So that's a key skill to push, and obviously engineering, which has always been there, and one thing that STEM is bringing, is that most of the future jobs are going to be in STEM. So it's important to start pushing for it. It's important to start, making sure that people are familiar with what's happening in STEM. And because a lot of, the jobs and profession are actually going to fall into that bracket. And for people to be able to access it, they need to understand how it works. They need to understand where are the opportunities, and they need to understand, how they can scale up themselves to be able to fit into this new world, where STEM is going to be, king. So yes, that's actually why I'm really pushing, because especially for us women, it's always been something that we thought it was just for men. Men were, the one that actually were doing it really well into it. But I mean, having worked myself in a technical environment. I don't think that women cannot make it. It's just, like I said, a mindset problem again, where women already come in with an excuse because of their gender, and yet they don't actually sit down and try to understand where they can make an impact. And that's where, I focus on really pushing those women to understand that, they are capable. And if they lack the skill, they can always learn, because everybody can learn at any time. And if they have the right mindset, they should be ready to take on, and participate, and take on those jobs of the future, and have their voice heard as well, because it's going to be very important. for them as well. So I've been doing a lot of work. I've started a program in Uganda with a local woman, young woman. She's a pilot, so we've been doing outreach, especially in regional area where women are marginalized and don't actually have the economic means to be able to push and study. So we've been doing that and rallying, the women that are already working in those industry to come forward and share their stories and inspire young women to be able to for them to really see it really the real thing, because when you see it, you believe it. So that's really what we're trying to do. So starting in Uganda, I also started working here with our indigenous community, which is again another community where there's a lot of challenges, and so helping them to get involved and get involved in what's coming up in the future. So really, really interesting, and I've been also talking, going to different forums, just bringing my message as well. And I think that's how those nominations that I was talking about, were coming as well, just to encourage me to keep going forward.
Now, you mentioned you were an engineer. That seems to be like your basis of what got you started in your career. And I know you're dealing with some energy. I was doing a little research on you. So I want you to talk about that, because it seems like it's some energy where it could be, and I'm trying to get my words together, maybe low savings energy. How is that working? And talk about that, because you're doing some things in Africa as well as globally with it, correct?
Yes, so like I said, my background is engineering. So I've been an engineer in the oil and gas sector. So started in Gabon. I was working for the Anglo-Dutch multinational Shell. That's where I started my career. So the oil and gas is it's actually a big industry in the U.S. as well. So
Yeah.
so that's the conventional, and the U.S. has been doing also. I think you probably heard during your own election talking about the fracking and all kind of things on the energy. So the what's going on right now is, the oil and gas, and I don't know if you understand, I mean, if you've done your research, it's a big industry in Africa right now, but we always had the Middle East, obviously, and also North America, which is picking up as well. But there's a shift right now, because a lot of people think that the conventional, so oil and gas industry is actually quite detrimental to the climate, and causing a lot of climate change issues. So they want to back down from that and push more for what they call clean energy, which is renewable energy. And in this renewable energy, you have things like wind energy, you have things like solar energy. So all those type of energy that they want to now use, so that they can lower the emission, the gas emission, and basically try to lower the impact on the climate for all of us. And so, but there's a debate, around it, and sometimes what I talk to people, and what we don't realize sometimes is that, yes, oil and gas is polluting in a way, but there are actually industry that are polluting even more, like the fashion industry, which is quite a big hit, and oil and gas as well, because people want to stop it and things like that, but they don't actually understand the different ramification, because oil and gas bring petrochemicals, so a lot of the thing that we are using the soap every day or
Right.
any other things, the gasoline or everything that we use into our life goes down to oil and gas, even some of the shampoo that we use. So we need to think that through and understand that, we are at the end of the demand. So if we want things to change, we also have to adjust our life accordingly so that the demand becomes low, and then you also impact the on the downstream, and that's on the upstream, sorry, and that's the story, is that yes, it's polluting, but we have to do things in steps, and there are also opportunity to optimize. And one of the optimization that we are looking for is maybe use more the gas, which is less polluting, as a transitioning energy source, instead of just saying, okay, we just cut everything and then we move to what we call clean energy. But clean energy also comes with some drawbacks as well that people don't know. I mean, we use batteries, but batteries is coming from mining, and mining is also polluting. So there's a full analysis to be done, and that people sometimes don't understand is that it's not something that you can just solve just like that. It has to be thought through, and all of us, we have to we have to adjust. It's not just the industry itself. There are ramifications to other area. So to answer your question, I mean, we see, so oil and gas is a big business. It's the main business in the Middle East. So countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Emirates, they really, all they've built their countries and their continent on that, and it's been also the reason that we had so many wars as well, because it's
Yeah,
big money from that. And Africa has been coming up the last few decades
that's right.
with very big discoveries in West Africa. But then now we see a lot coming as well from East Africa and Southern Africa. It's always been focused on West Africa, countries like Nigeria, where the leading, and then you had a country in North America like Egypt, Algeria, really big as well. So a lot, it's a big industry having ramification, like I said, and that's why people need to understand, that you don't have to be an engineer like me, like you said, you've done your research. Just try to understand the basic, understand the ramification, so that they can, propose the right solution going forward, especially as far as climate change is concerned.
Yeah, that's very powerful, and it's also great that Africa, the motherland, with all the resources we have there, is starting to, get into the mix of that new type of energy. That's great. I wanted to transition before I talk to you about your global leadership program. I wanted to transition engineering. I know a brother by the name of Brother Ross. Shout out to Brother Ross, Collective Black People Movement, CBNP.org. Um, he's an engineer, or used to be, and he always says the things with engineers is that they bring things together for people, and that's what he does. He brings black people together collectively for their skills and talents. And I'm looking at you as an engineer. Not only do you your engineering as far as the energy, but you're also putting people together and building things globally together and uniting women. And that seems to me is interesting for engineers to have that quality. It always has a story, though. Brother Roz mentioned he was working for like a nuclear plant or something. Hopefully, I got that right. He got laid off and he decided to take his engineering talents and unite people. What made you take those talents and start, uplifting women and things like that? Where's that story? Is it a childhood story? Did you just see a need? Was it your struggles?
So, I mean, it's obviously coming from my own experience. First, when I got into the industry, it was, I always tell people it was love at second sight because I was still studying. Back then, I was finishing my bachelor in France, and my dad, who was actually the provider and paying for everything, died. So I had
Oh
to take
man.
a decision. Yeah, I had to take a decision. It was okay. I finished this bachelor and I have to go on the market because my mom couldn't sustain us. She didn't have enough money. So I had to take a decision. So that's when I went back to Gabon. And my objective was really looking at getting a job, but not really thinking, about a specific thing. So, and that's how I got into the oil and gas industry because back then, those big companies that were operating in Gabon were looking for local people that they wanted to position as well and train for their operations, on the ground. And that's how I got into the industry. So didn't know much. So got trained. Yes, I had an engineering. I did an engineering bachelor, but didn't know what all was and didn't
Right.
understand. And I went through it, and what I realized is when I joined this industry, there were a lot of, I was a minority. It was very white male Caucasian, dominated, and I realized that I was not taken seriously, and so got really frustrated because I started to really play the victim, basically saying, yeah, this is happening because I'm black, because I'm a woman, because, and at some point I just realized that I was not going anywhere. So I flipped the coin and started to realize that at the end of the day, I'm here. There's a reason why I'm here. And I have skills and started more to look at me being a minority as an advantage. So I was telling myself, because I'm a minority and because people are going to notice me everywhere, when I do something tremendous, when I deliver something tremendous, everybody will know about it.
Right.
So that was my mindset and saying, stop being the victim, stop, just tell yourself because you're different. And on top of that, you come out with something fantastic. And even if it's not fantastic, but something good, you'll be skyrocketing compared to this mass of people who look the same. And that's how, I started to think about the engineering in a sense where it's not just in the technical, area. It's also we can engineer our own life. We can engineer, things in the social environment, and really starting to build this engineering mindset that I now, basically live, is that, it's not just going to school and getting an engineering degree. It's actually life itself. Life has to be engineered, and we all engineer in a way, and we all engineer of our own life, and we all engineer of our own community, and we all engineer our own ideas as well. And that's really where it started. And then, things started, to really take off for me. And at some point I got stuck again. I couldn't go through, the ladder anymore, stuck. I was just, going, it was really flat out. And that's when I decided to leave corporate and to start Empty Energy that I'm now, managing. And it's been going well. And again, thinking about bringing this mindset and bringing people together using my story and make them understand that, they are engineers and they shouldn't be ashamed of when they talk to an engineer that is coming from school or from university. They are engineers themselves and they can do great things, and really push this movement, bring people together, and make them understand that not only they can engineer their life, but they also can engineer, the community that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be done by collaborating and bringing people together. And that's what I do, is bringing people together who have different skills. But when those skills are put together, it's just so powerful that nobody can stop them. So that's really where, all of this came in. It's more about my own struggle as a learner, and then later on understand that, you know, it starts yet with my mindset. Yes, I can engineer my life, but I need to connect with the rest and collaborate. And when we come together, it's just a bomb. It's just powerful.
That's amazing. And shout out again to brother Ross Marvin, because he said the exact same things. And I understood what he was saying, but now hearing it from you, it just cements that in stone. That's just very powerful. The engineers and the power that they have to bring people together. So that's just awesome in its own right. I wanted to talk to you about global leadership. That's a company that you're doing, and I know you're very passionate about it, and we really want to promote it. So please go into details about that for me.
So, I mean, as a result of what I've just said, I've just, at some point, I just sat down and, tried to understand if there is a particular process that I went through, to get where I am. And I actually find out that, without knowing it, I went through a process that I myself was not aware until I sat down and started to analyze the different things that I've done in my life. And that's how the DARE leadership system started. So DARE, it's standing for, the D is for decide, the A is for act, the R is for review, and the E is for expand. So why did I decided to focus on those four things? Everything in life starts with a decision. I mean, we have to decide, you know, uh, knowing who we are, and decide where we want to be, decide what kind of person we want to be, decide, what next step we want to take, decide who are the people that we want to be surrounded with. So it's always a decision at the starting point. And from this decision, we have to find a way to get where we want to be. And get where we want to be, we need to take action. So we have to put together a plan of action and implement this plan, because we can have all those plans and take all those decisions. If we don't follow, nothing happens. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to go there, take action, and move, move things forward. And as a result of us taking action, two things can happen. You can basically, go and get what you want, or get where you want to be, or you can fall through, and and nothing works. But that's not the end. If nothing works, if it doesn't work, you have to go and review what didn't work. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the R that I'm talking about. Is that if you realize that you're not where you are, you realize that you failed on something, don't just stay there. You have to review the process, review how things have done, identify the gaps, identify what didn't work, and then go back to the drawing board, which is taking a new decision. So that's the review part. But if by chance you get what you want, or and you're really where you want to be, don't stay there as well. You have to keep expanding. So find, take another decision which gonna bring you to the next level of your greatness. Challenge yourself. Don't stay in this comfort zone. Expand and really, do that. And when you go through this process, what you realize is that, you always grow. You always grow. You never stop growing. And you realize that there's no limit in a way. If you keep doing it, there's no limit. And that's something that I've always done in my life, is really understand that, always go to the next step, take action. If it doesn't work, what didn't work? Who do I need to bring? What do I need to do? Do I need to take another course? Do I need to get a mentor? Do I need to do something different? And when I have that, I have a new plan. I bring the people that I need. I fill the gap. Then I get where I want to be. But even when when I'm where I want to be, there's always something that I can do to become the best version of myself. So still getting those new challenge, take risk, and go to the next level to be able to become the best you. And that's what I'm doing. I could right now I could say, okay, I'm stopping, I don't do anything else. No, I have to continue to to expand, to grow, because as long as I'm alive, I have to stay growing. That's what it is all about for me.
That's interesting that you apply that to life. But now I see why you're so successful and you're winning all these awards all around the world, because that's not only something that you apply to life, you apply to business. You decide, you make actions, then you got to review why am I failing? Why am I struggling? Why, even if I'm succeeding, why haven't I grown where I want to be or even grown further and dominate? And then you expand. I think that it's kind of like a business plan to a certain degree. You create
Exactly.
something, make action. That is powerful. So, do you incorporate and help people with the global leadership, incorporate the dare and teach them? How does that go hand in hand with what you're teaching?
So what I'm teaching is, I have workshops, and I also have one-on-one coaching as well, because we start with the system, but sometimes people still need help through the process so that they see exactly, how those steps are integrated into their life. So that's another way to do that, have the one-on-one coaching. But it's been mostly workshops and really teaching people the system so that they can take it and use that for their own life, or even for their professionally. So it's been I mean, it's still early days, because still have to globally launch it, but it's been going really well with people that have actually started to take the program. And one thing that I want to do as well, because yes, I've created the programs, but make sure that there are people who can get that, become certified coach, and then they can use it and pass it on to people in their community, in their country, or wherever they live, because that's important, that people understand that there's a process that people have try, and it's working. So just share it so that they can also get to become the best version of themselves as well, wherever they are.
Now, before I let you go, I wanted to get you just to say something inspirational to the people, but I gotta plug you in because I know you're doing some phenomenal things. First, before I even go there, I don't know if you're still doing this or not, but I saw something where you were dealing with something kind of like a television or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Are you still
as
doing
much
that?
I'm still doing it. It's been, I took a small break this month in October because I had a few events. So I have a show, online show called the Greatness Engineering Hour. So where I bring, people who have a story of triumph or a knowledge to share. And they come. It's an hour show, so they can talk about their stories, but also share tools and strategies for people to actually get to go to the next level of the greatness, has to stick to the name of the show. So really pushing what I call greatness engineering, because that's really the movement that I'm pushing. Greatness engineering. Understand that people, like I said at the beginning, are engineers wherever they are. They engineers something. They engineer their life. They engineers, greatness. They engineer happiness. Wherever they are, wherever you are, you can be engineer and step into your engineering power and do it. So that's what the show is all about. So it's a weekly show. During, when the intensity of the pandemic, it was once a week first, and then when the intensity of the pandemic, people staying at home came, I was doing it almost every day.
Right.
So it's still on, and
Where,
I
where can
actually
where
had a
can they
show on Friday.
where can they find your show?
So my show can be found on my YouTube channel. So under my name, Mireille Toulekima, the YouTube channel, and also on Facebook. It's live stream live on Facebook on my Mireille Toulekima Global Leadership Facebook page. So they can get it there, and I also, when I start the show, also put it on my private, but it's better to go on the fan page, which is Mireille Toulekima Global Leadership. So going really well, and as a follow up to the show, I also started a magazine called the Greatness Engineering Magazine.
Wow.
So that started. I started the magazine in July. So the next issue will be in December.
Wow, you're doing it big, my sister. I want to just big up you. You know, as always, we give our guests a great round of applause.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, please, because I know you're doing a lot of uplifting, just please give some encouraging words, and especially to our strong young sisters out here that are, trying to find themselves in the world today, because it is a struggle.
It is a struggle, and I understand the struggle. And like I said, right now people probably see the best of what I have to offer, but it came down with a lot of struggle as well. So, and what I really want to tell, my sisters and anybody who is listening today, is that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Whatever the challenge that you go through, try to find this just small light, or this opportunity, this positivity in what's happening in your life, and cling to it. Focus on it. Don't focus on what you've lost. Don't focus on your struggle. You're not your struggle. Focus on what's positive in your life, and keep pushing. Keep pushing, because if you stop, then that's the end. But if you keep pushing, you will get to the light that's at the end of the tunnel. It can take a lot of time, but don't get discouraged. And don't try to do it alone as well, because what's going on is that when things start to be negative, we retract, and we start to focus on everything that's going wrong. But get the opportunity as well to show your vulnerability and talk to people around you, because together we can manage better. Because sometimes it's just too much, especially right now. There's so much going on, people losing jobs, people being sick, and all kind of thing, losing very, very close uh, friends and family. But what you have to tell yourself is that you woke up this morning. It means that there's hope. There's still something for you to do here, and find this something, focus on it, and keep going. It's not easy, but keep going. And that's what I did, because when I lost my dad and I just realized, there's nothing left to me, that's when things started to come, because I focused on saying, I'm gonna, do it for him, and then go to and really become the best version of myself. It was hard the first few years, but then when I look at it down, 25 years after, it's just amazing what I've been able to accomplish, and I can't even believe it myself.
Right. Well, Sister Tola Kim, I want to thank you so much for just blessing my platform. And please, thank you for just, supporting us, and whatever we can do over here, in the organizations I'm in, I definitely got you covered. So I want to definitely give you a lot of love, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really great, and like I said, I'm always willing to help, and really, use my what my experience and my knowledge and whatever I can to push people and bring people together first and then help them to go to the next level of their greatness, because we all have greatness and we have to believe it because it's there.
I say. Have a great day. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much. Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye. Wow, what a powerful interview from my sister. Man, please like and share that video. If you're on Facebook, please share. If you're on YouTube, hit the like. Please share. And you know, we're streaming onto a lot of different channels. So the Collective Black People Movement YouTube, the both UNIAs, everybody, just please share this information to support our sister, because she's bringing everybody together and uplifting a lot of people, and it's very important. So, man, I want to thank you guys again for tuning in. And again, please share and just stay tuned. We got a lot of powerful information coming up. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. Have a great day.
Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about